Walter, I see you, yes?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Walter, I'm
You
going to
want me
put
to
your
go?
poem. Yes, let me put your poems on, okay?
Okay, sure. All right. All right.
I've got it now, and I'll be right there with you. I can't hear anything. Can you see it there, Walter?
I just want to say that what I've learned through the pandemic and through these Zoom readings is that there is such a thing as the persistence of poetry. And what everyone thinks it is, or what everyone thinks it isn't, it's damn persistent. And I think everyone just keep it going. It's great. This is called Controlling the Dosage. The sickness has many names: frustration, dysfunction, gunpowder, barrels of hydrogenated venom buried in secret locations, communities in constant need of protection from lead pipe drinking water cinches, from the raging liar pants fires of daddy's boy, big daddies, capable of unspeakable casual violence. Innocents taking another horrific beating, quotes, while the whole world watches, end quote. The super powerless persistently incapable of keeping the unarmed from harm. The sickness has too many identities: indifference, a clenched fist, a bland smirk, someone in charge who says, do it, and someone not in charge who does it. The sickness is ubiquitous. Be sure to check expiration dates of the air in your time zone, flow rates of bilge from the media pumps, toxin levels in the trickle-down manna. Cash cow farmers have suggested trying to control the daily dosage. Do not speak of such things in your house. Do not honor the evil that walks among us by giving it names. But even at a depth of 1 metrical foot, the least amount of silence can crush a human soul. And I'm just reading one more. It's called Reckonings. As the great prosperity quietly emptied out like a stadium after the home team choked, the surviving elders of the great dispersal took it upon themselves to remember themselves. On days when it rained, they retold rain stories. In the shade of picnic shelters, they sang themselves free of their woes. When the trees let go of their leaves, they left trails of text messages in the wilderness of air. The time your father nearly cut off his thumb on the prehistoric table saw in the garage. Was it you who ended up with the upright? Children who'd turned into uncanny impersonations of their aunts and uncles had crossed the millennial divide and began to stage the first yard sales of the 21st century. Grandchildren begat children who turned into their own parents. They wore shirts with labels that said faded glory. Having a swell inflammation, wish you were here. Cousins pieced together genealogies that became handy score sheets for tracking survivors. Scan the photographs and put them on a thumb. I can see us coming and going. No family picnic this year due to the fact that so many of us are housebound or dead. We move on.
I could have had more of your poetry tonight, Walter.
Well, where's the rest of that? Did I not give you the rest of the poem?
Oh, is there? I'm
Did
sorry.
I read it without you seeing it? I thought there was another part there.
Oh,
another
there it is.
tempo
Oh,
part.
yeah.
There we go. You
There
lost
you
me,
go.
man.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody
You
remember
just
what I just
received it.
said.
Sorry.
All right. My father's voice momentarily mingles with my voice with the ease of a hand slipping into a glove. How many pairs of them wrapped around the grips and handles of snow shovels, the skinny pine shafts of dime store lawn rakes? all that repetitive motion sprung from necessity. For a driveway no longer driven on, a lawn no more a lawn. What is the property now? A storage hotel parking lot? A parcel emptied of its dwelling? A plot of weedy scraps? So ask the voices, no matter who they belong to. There's a quote from Eugene Debs: "The course of a roadbed is the pathway of enlightenment." After a journey of 10,000 contradictions, the mighty narrative of limitless progress broke apart in a barefaced collision with a freight train of grift. Through the smokescreen pulled from the wreckage, we could make out the advanced guard of the next great thing, assembling its market forces along the event horizon. Interesting in its mercenary way, but hardly as impressive as mounted Cheyenne cavalry along the crest of a hill. It was around that time when the unexpected child walked by, hauling a prehistoric boombox on a coaster wagon, blasting Eugene Debs and the Locomotion Sisters, singing, "I've been working on the infrastructure, underfunded all the livelong day." I remember it as clearly as if it had just happened Tuesday. Well, then was some election campaigns this time, friend. The sack races, the rummage sales, the barrels of pork, any number of $1,000 a plate tube steak dinners, more baby kissing selfies than a pie eating contest. For how many decades now have they gone home afterward and sat down, elbows on kitchen tables, heads in hands, mulling over the lies they needed to keep repeating to keep from bursting with chuckles or slumping into a slobber of sobs? Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, and for bringing that lovely poetry. Sorry for the mishap. I wanted more, so I'm glad there was more. I know you just sent it, so I wasn't sure what was on there. It sounded like you were finished. Like, no, I want more. So that's
the guy in the
perfect.
studio is
Thank
going
you.
like this.
And thank you very much. No, that was really wonderful. And I guess I apologize, of course, for the activity just before. I mean, it's just the inevitability. I think that gentleman was a little out of sorts and certainly out of line,
No
as I
problem.
think we all agree. And thank you for getting us back into poetry, Walter, with your really fine work. And enjoyed reading it. Look forward to reading it again. There's a lot there. It's very well stated. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Gustav, you're back. Indeed, you were gone for a bit. I lost you there. Hello, Gustav. Let me put your poem on. You're on mute, and let me put your poem on for you.
Here I am. I don't think I ever left.
Oh, I was looking for you. Where are you? Where are you?
I was right here. Here I am.
I see. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Somehow, but all good. Let me read a little about Gustav. Very simply, as a performance poet and a political activist living in West Palm Beach, Florida, and every time I watch Gustav perform, it just knocks my socks off, as I think he will us all. And thank you, Gustav, for coming. And I'm sorry if I didn't see you in the screen. And here you go.
Cheers. Thank you. This is called No Theme Dream, a psychopharmacological grotesque. At first, I'm an astronaut holding your purse. Then I'm a pirate driving a hearse, running down alleys, mysterious smell. Suddenly, I find myself rotting in hell. Took too many red pills. I'm crawling on nails. Trust me to do this. It never fails. The top of my head swells like a balloon. If you were to see it, you'd surely swoon. Finding a squid phone, I made a call. Under the ocean, that says it all. Daring to push meat up onto the shore, solo blue cold feet. I wanted more. I'm trying to tell you, I overdosed. If I don't come down soon, my brain will be toast.
I think Chris is trying to get back in.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him back in.
Okay, this is called Meet DeSantis. DeSantis, meet DeSantis. He's a modern Stone Age governor. He is dumb as a rock, Took the CRT right out of history. Someday, maybe Ron will win the fight. Then we'll be so fucking far right. When you're with DeSantis, have a yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time. Don't say a gay old time. Don't say a gay old time. This is called boss. Nancy Pelosi is a boss. She's someone you don't want to cross. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Don't get it? It's your loss. So if there's an orange traitor that you want to toss, call Nancy Pelosi. She's got the sauce. Brush your teeth and don't forget to floss. And always remember, Nancy Pelosi is a boss. This is called Welcome to Dystopia. Idiocracy gone to hell in A Handmaid's Tale, like a remixed 1980 floor show. Their brave new world's really a plague-ridden medieval times. People playing war games when, strange game, the only winning move is not to play. Blade runners terminating skin jobs, road warriors beyond Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. The other guys, Soylent Green. It's people, it's people. But I'm going to bust out the Matrix because I see there is no spoon. The God Emperor of Dune. I make like Omega Man and kill some zombies before Skynet unleashes the Terminators. You are number 5. I am not a number. I am a free man. You are number 5. I am not a number. I am a free man. The prisoner imagines the cell. The jury has sent him to hell. His 6x8 slice of dystopia within a dystopia, America's prison industrial cornucopia, complex but as simple as a slave plantation, 2 million people in incarceration, the US the world leader in prison population, domestic infant supplier exploitation, penny wise but pound foolish, we're Gacy clown ghoulish. That's it, we're like Bozo the clown foolish. 698 Americans out of 100,000 are behind bars. China's only got 121 per 100,000, home of the free hours. Pardon the prisoners of the drug war fought in error. Bring healings to community where once there was terror. We built our society on a broken foundation. White supremacy and guns are the seeds of our damnation. Guns have turned Americans into prisoners of unconscious. Afraid at school, afraid in the grocery, afraid you'll be the next Walmarter. Shot, live streamed and accompanied by a racist manifesto Kickstarter. Tucker Carlson paraphrased by the incel loser who has taken society's abuse and is now the abuser. The abused is now the abuser. This is called What is Reality? If it is thoughtful analysis you seek, give me some acid and call me as I peak. I've had it, I'll have it all figured out, wrapped up neat without a doubt. What is reality? I've been chasing that white whale like I was Captain Ahab. If I don't slow down, I'll end up in rehab. Reality ranger, reality stranger, reality winner, reality sinner, reality assassin, reality passion, reality incantations, reality sensations, reality show, reality no. Reality is the only word in the language that should always be used in quotes. Thank you.
Well,
Here,
thank
here,
you.
here, here.
Thank you for showing us the huge potential of poetry today. I love
Yeah.
that too. I think we all love that too. I mean, it's just wonderful, right on target, and something that's both accessible and enjoyable, and great poetry as well. Thank you, Gustav. That was one I loved it. Thank you. Okay. Well, I think we have 2 poets left on the original list, and that would be Max. Ione, let me mute you, dear. Sorry. Gustav, we have Max Ochs, and I'm going to include also tonight QUASAR, since we have a nice list. So first is Max Ochs. Max is a
Hi.
long time.
And, Mark, do you have my file?
Yeah,
I'm
somebody
sorry,
is.
go ahead.
Yeah, somebody is barking. Somebody's dog is barking. So, can we please unmute? Please mute while I'm saying that while I introduce Max. Thank you very much. And whoever the dog is. And so Max is an Annapolis poet, worked in the country's anti-poverty probing agency and local conflict resolution center for, gosh, I don't know how many years. His poetry and music can be found in Grace Cavalieri's The Poet and the Poem, Library of Congress website. A primitive American musicians, Ochs has learned his licks from some blues great guitarists like Mississippi John Hurt, who stayed with him in New York City, in Tompkins Square. Records called him the obscure giant of acoustic guitar. He lives with his wife, Suzanne, on the picturesque Severn River, just north of Annapolis, Maryland. He's got many CDs out. He sent me some. They're just amazing. They're both folkloric and improvisational. He's still taking up from his nephew, I believe, Phil Ochs, one of the great American songwriters. And it's always a pleasure to introduce my friend and fine poet, Max Ochs.
Okay, shall I share screen or do you have my thing that I sent? I can share.
Yeah, Max, I don't have it here.
Okay, that's fine. I'll share.
Sure, thank you.
Can you see this?
Yes.
An apple place in Annapolis.
Could you make it a little
our
bit larger on the bottom right?
how do you do that on the bottom right? Let's
You
see.
see where the little thing on the page, keep on the page and just move your cursor to the bottom. You see a little line there with a in the center. You're just going to move it to the right on that bar.
Like there? No.
Wait, no, move your cursor to the bottom right.
Yeah.
I don't see your cursor. There it is. And just bottom right, all the way to the bottom right of the page, if you can see there. Well, if not, everybody else can take your view options and just build it up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
okay?
wait. Oh yeah. Right there.
There it is, yes. Okay.
Okay.
And just X that out and you're set. Thank you. Perfect, thank you.
An apple place in Annapolis. Before our daughter was born, we used to run an apple place in Annapolis. Hard work, but fun. Coaxing an old F600 up where Mr. John Meyer kept wine saps in Westminster caves, as did his father years prior. Stamens, Yorks, Johnnies, Golds, ate 13 apples a day and never caught colds. Mostly good ones, though, only with rotten spots. Chomped the sweet part down, chucked the core in the woods. Always 13 yellow jackets circling my hand when we put sample cups of cider on the stand, but we rarely got stung, just blew the bees away, made them think we were wind gods, I like to say. Oh, our stand was pretty in the splendor of fall. You had a keen sense of space after all, who knew just where to place the gourds, mums, dried blue Indian corn, red and green palms. Don't forget giant squash and pecks of sweet potatoes, and that cornucopious bounty of late cherry tomatoes. Rising at 6, we both worked until 7 p.m., carrying pumpkins carefully so as not to break the stem. Payday depended on the weather and on the luck. If it rained, we'd sit in the cab of our flatbed truck, not dreaming we'd throw away a treasure, this heaven on earth, warming our hands on cocoa from the 7-Eleven mixed with a little coffee. Or had you forgotten? All we had to worry about was vegetables going rotten. Molly. After your mom died, a question fell from younger brother to older sister. Who's going to take the dog? Molly, rescued from a Portland puppy mill where some man with a deep voice must have been cruel and abusive. Now she trembled at the sound of any pitch below tenor, maybe even alto. Mom in dotage fed her poppums, boxes and boxes of donut holes kept in the freezer. She also fed her, not so surreptitiously under the table, lobster. From her mouth, after she chewed it up. Anyway, we brought the shaking girl home, the Yankee Spaniel bitch from Maine, where she got used to scratching the door to be let out into the backyard to poop. Blind in one eye, can't see out the other, yet looking for a place in this world. Inconvenient dog, deaf ears gunged with yucky wax. She's always hungry, her poor teeth decayed from donut glaze. Children ask if they could pet her, then withdraw their hand, feeling warts on her back. When she pees on the porch, which is often, we mutter about having her put down. So fast, so easily we contemplate her fate. Let's hope no one plays God with us that way. I'm ashamed. It is so hard for me to love her. Hush, don't talk about it. Practice kindness. Here's our girl now, looking for a treat. And I have my COVID poem, just like everybody, I guess. Contact tracing. Coins dropped in my palm from the hand of the guy at 7-Eleven. I wrote this in March of 2020. It would be different if I wrote it today. Contact tracing. Coins dropped in my palm from the hand of the guy at the 7-Eleven. The Visa card I put back in my wallet without disinfecting. The liquor store kid who carried Pinot Noir to the car. Perhaps the mail brought in the house before waiting for one of the Amazon packages, or the unwashed heirlooms from the farmer's market. Was it the keypad of the ATM? The little girl who smooched Banjo, my promiscuous dog, joyfully running up to her. Tree men from Guatemala. One of our hood's maskless gang, an asymptomatic dick who thought safe 6, funny, then tested sick. Stay 1 cow apart. Sign in Vermont. Too late now. What's the difference which vector shed virus anyhow? Let me not spend my last few days on ventilator and wishing I'd left the world one readable piece. To die incomplete, no big deal. I've been a ghost for years, only half experiencing the river sky, the poetry, the here. Thank you.
Oh, wow. So it was March 20. I first heard that poem in March 2020 when you had just written it. And I said to myself, he's got it. It's exactly it. That just drew me right to you, Max. And I'm so happy I was able to continue the relationship. And
Thanks
your
a
other
lot.
poems also about the dog and all. I mean, thank you. That's just great. I mean, that's that remembrance of that particular period when, going to the 7-Eleven, wondering if you're going to get COVID, from putting your hand on the doorknob and all that.
Right.
It was just so true.
So Max, if you wrote it now, how would it be different?
Oh, I guess I'd mention variants and the cleverness. I would try to see it from the virus point of view, or maybe I would be a little more sanguine about death. I don't know.
I love that the last line.
I
is
thought it
always,
was perfect the way it is.
Oh.
And I was just wondering how you would improve on perfection.
Thank you.
I was just jealous the way that ended. It was so perfect. The here. I don't think I've seen that's wow. Explodes the poem open. It's just great. Thanks. Well, for the regular featured poets tonight, I'm going to end, and then we have a whole bunch of people I think will want to read a poem or two or more, and I'm very happy about that. But our next poet, I don't have your bio in front of me, QUASAR, but I can just say a little bit about it in that I met QUASAR at an open at Words Out Loud, which was a live production, a live poetry reading in near Washington. I think it was Bethesda. And QUASAR always fascinated me. He's a scholar of of Persian and ancient literature. I think has translated so many books. I tend to like a telephone book of activity in the spiritual world and in the mystical world. And he gave a workshop, which we'll be doing again in February, about enlightenment and the miraculous, which I'll never forget. Speaks many different languages and many different great ways of introducing mystical poetry. And with that in mind, I hope I've done you justice, QUASAR. You have such a huge library of books and things that you've published.
Okay, can you hear me, folks? Okay, let me
Yes.
see if I can do the share screen.
I got it for you if you'd like. Or you can-
Let's see if I can do this myself. Can you
Absolutely.
folks see it? Now, how do I move this thing? Oops, what
I
happened?
had to get off. I have to get off for you to try to get on.
Oopsie daisy, okay. What? Uh-oh. Sorry, folks, I don't know where we are here.
I'll take it for you then. You send me just in
Okay.
case. Okay, that's okay.
Go ahead, you do it then.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me just start with a couplet from Attar, who I've studied for many years, Persian poet from 800 years ago, just to open up my voice. محو ما گردید در صد عز و ناز تا به ما در خویش را یابید باز محو او گشتند آخر بر دوام سایه در خورشید گم شد و سلام. It's the sea mork speaking to the 30 birds, the sea mork who've arrived to the presence, and he says, come nigh, let yourselves in me in glory's bliss, to find yourselves again in me, all this. Obliterate ere more in him at last they came. Shadow was lost in sun, 'twas rest and gain. Okay, the first two poems I'm gonna read are about the end of the universe. The first is addressed to the last conscious beings in the universe. It's called In Universal Grief, Before the Coming Heat Death. And the heat death is the thermodynamic end of the universe, when there is no more energy left to be used in any way, all energy having been already dispersed, maximum entropy. In universal grief, before the coming heat death. Here we now see you already in grief, as you begin to see yourselves as the last of the last ones, as you begin to see the end of all. We are mirrors of each other's consciousnesses. We seeing you deep in the gravity well of the heat death. You seeing us deep in the springtime of the universe. We are grieving in the spring as you begin to grieve for all. We are dying in the spring as we watch you die. Our throats are already parched, for we are all rats caught in the glassy labyrinth of time, talking about bone dry at the bottom of the well of time. When looking back, you see us. All we can do for you is love and wave. You'll recognize us by our eyes, for we've been crying for you and us all the way through time. Sure, the sun was bright and the grass was green, but we felt the heat death creeping up through time, and we cried and shivered for you and us eons before you opened your eyes. Eons before you opened your eyes. Wake up. It is morning on the last day of the universe. We are with you you last ones, to the void fall, to the end. Hold our eyes as we hold yours. Hold our eyes. We are with you, you last ones, to the void fall, to the end. Hold our eyes as we hold yours. Hold our eyes. Hold our eyes. We are with you. Let me read the coda here, Mark. Let me read the coda, and I'm just going to read one coda. This places the poem in time and space. Time is 2.73 degrees Kelvin. That's the temperature of the microwave background radiation. 13.8 billion years after the Big Bang, the place is on the solid ground of the Americas, the Earth, the solar system, the Orion Cygnus arm, the local arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the local group of galaxies, swept along with 1,000+ other galaxy clusters in the Virgo supercluster of galaxies and the Laniakea overcluster of galaxies, caught in the undertow, in the dark flow, streaming towards the unknown, all in the web weave of galaxies, stretching in the all-where, coiled in the void nest here.
See if you could, in the rest, we have about 3 minutes left, okay?
Again,
Quasar, so choose what you would like.
okay, skip this one. Pinnacle of radiance, leopard lizard on light. Noon suns stun the lizard cat at midday's days, while autumnal leaves call the fall, late in the Berkshire's vermilion blaze. Lizard cat is lost in memory's light plays, the dazzlance of sorrows dances through its gall. Time's spectrum breaks down into blues and blacks. With all this mad jawing and clawing around the dark, leopard lizard's native fifth column of light with thick blood floods infiltrates this night. Again, it is high noon. The leopard lizard is not bored by the glint of brand of granite sun, the pores between its scales. Breathe the firelight. The pure inferno is now solidified incandescence. The leopard lizard makes it stand on the pinnacle of radiance. Last one. Deep radiance number 2. I, universe, shine in love amplitudes for which there is yet no measure except the scream, the scream. We all know better. We all know better than to think that just because the gloss is off, that we, universe, cannot shine brighter than ever in the black fastness inside and around us. We all know better. We all know better than to think that just because the gloss is off, that we, universe, cannot shine deeper than ever in the void vastness inside and around us. We all know better. The gloss is off the void, but the deep radiance has just begun to take hold in the void vastness inside and around us. The deep radiance has just begun to take hold. We, universe, have just begun to call this, all this, all this home, home. We all know better. The deep radiance has just begun. The deep radiance has just begun. The deep radiance has just begun.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, folks. Thank you.
Nicely performed.
Oh, wow. Some great, the dazzlance of sorrows dances through its gall. And so many others. Yeah, really great. Wow.
Homeric.
Well, that was a little example of Quasar's work to end our session today, the featured session. And wow, good way to end with the miraculous. Thank you, thank you, Quasar. I look forward to our workshop in February. And thank you all for putting the time and the intensity into this particular event. I think it was wonderful. I'm sorry about that little mishap. I guess it happens from time to time. And it's always a little bit surprised, but things happen like that. And we're going to move on now. I'm going to stop recording.